family, the 4th of July is a really big deal. It's a really big holiday. It's very important, which might not sound that strange, except that my family is also British, and not distantly British, like really recently British. Like really recently people had British accents, and a lot of them still do because they still live there. But I can't explain it. The members of my family who live here in the United States, we just love the freaking 4th of July. We're just obsessed with it. And I need to make a dessert. I need to bring a dessert. This is expected of me, and I'm very excited to do so. I have been looking at this summer berry pie. I haven't made this before, but the photo looks amazing, and that's what we're gonna make today for the 4th of July. I'm not wearing red. I don't have any red. I'm wearing blue and white. Pretend that these stripes are red. Maybe I can Photoshop it. This summer berry pie has a graham cracker crust, which is what we're gonna start with today. The ingredients for the crust are very simple. It's graham crackers, melted butter, and sugar. 9 whole graham crackers. Okay. I'm gonna come to sleep. Oh. What the heck? I think this makes a whole graham cracker, right? Yeah. Yeah? What does a graham cracker look like? Like this? I think that this is one. Let's go with that. Okay, how many are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 in here. So if this is one whole graham cracker, I need to put all of this in, plus one more. Come on. All right, it says broken into 1-inch pieces. We're not gonna go crazy with this. I'm just gonna break them up. Oh, this makes me feel really strong. Process. That happened fast. Fine breadcrumbs. Man, breadcrumbs, like, biggest shout out for food processors. There's still some big bits. I'm gonna go again. Okay. Not that I look at breadcrumbs that often. 5 tablespoons unsalted melted butter. And 3 tablespoons sugar. I'm supposed to pulse. Now 5 pulses. That was bad pulse. That one didn't count. Pie plate. Giving this a spread, then we're going to, we've done this before. Measuring cup. It's very crumbly. I'm getting a bit of an uneven ragged edge around the top, so I'm just trying to even it out because I want it to look nice. Into a 325, I had to check, degree oven for 13 to 18 minutes. What's our indicator? Crust is fragrant and beginning to brown. It's definitely fragrant, smells great. Beginning to brown, again. It was already brown. Well, it's very difficult to say. Maybe there's some light, darker browning around the top. I say we're good. Now for the filling. I went out and bought so many berries. It was fantastic. I have blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. My favorite cookbook does say that you can kind of alter the ratio of berries depending on what you like, but I'm a very by the book person and I just wanted to do what the book said the first time. I also have cornstarch, granulated sugar, teeny tiny salt in this teeny tiny bowl, just because it's super fun, lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons red currant or apple jelly. All right, we need to talk. That last ingredient has been haunting me for the past several days. I thought, apple jelly, okay. I haven't had that before, but like, how hard could it be to find? Well, I'll tell you how hard it was to find. It was impossible to find. That's the moral, it was impossible, I couldn't find it. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, so I couldn't find the ingredient, just substitute it. This is baking, like, just get a different thing. Here's what really worried me. Apples have pectin, which is a naturally occurring setting agent. And this is the only bake that this recipe is going to get. After this is gonna sit in the fridge. So I was worried if I didn't have apple jelly, and jelly, of course, which usually has pectin in it, of course, from the fruit, but then also gelatin in it. I was worried that it wouldn't set right, and that this whole thing would collapse, and it would look terrible, and then the 4th of July would be ruined, and it would be my fault because I couldn't find apple jelly. Do you have apple jelly in your store? Where do you live? Can I come there? Can you give me some? I need 2 tablespoons. So we have 2 options going forward. Of course, I Googled substitute for apple jelly. And they were like, yeah, get something that's close to it, like peach preserves. This is what we have here. Again, I need 2 tablespoons, so we have plenty. The second option is to make our own. Now, I know what you're thinking. That seems a lot for 2 tablespoons, and I quite agree with you. I bought some apples, and also I found this in my cupboard. Pectin. I forget why I have this. It's open, so I definitely used it for something. But honestly, I can't tell you why. Making our own apple jelly seems like a lot. Normally, I think you make like a huge batch of apple jelly, and I think it takes a couple of days because I think it needs to set. Oh no, look at this. What's in here? Oh, fruit pectin. I mean, this does seem a lot easier. Okay, let's go with this because like realistically, if you guys are gonna make this at home, are you gonna actually like make your own apple jelly? I mean, I'm not going to, so maybe you won't. And you know, if it doesn't work out, we have the grading system. Like, I want this recipe to work. But if it doesn't, could be a P, could be a T. Let's move on. I need 10 ounces of each type of berry. I love fresh berries so much that I'm always hesitant to put them in recipes where you have to cook them. I don't want to waste them on cooking. Let me just eat them. 2.5 cups going into the food processor. Now, I need to process this until very smooth, and then my favorite cookbook says, in parentheses, do not underprocess. Okay, we won't underprocess it. Let's go. I guess so. I mean, I don't feel like I underprocessed it. Oh God, it's a bloodbath in here. I have my little strainer here, and this is all going into a small saucepan. This smells incredible. Just sort of scraping the bottom, trying to move all the like seeds and fibrous bits out of the way. So now I can see there's really just like a bunch of seeds left. Here I have the sugar, cornstarch, and my teeny tiny bit of salt, which is all gonna be combined in this one bowl. And then into here. To the stove. So I have this on the stove, whisking constantly, and it thickened up really fast. You can see that. The indicator was thick as pudding. I haven't had pudding in a while, but I think this is right. I have 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And now we'll just set this aside to let it cool. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this peach puree works out. 2 tablespoons going into the saucepan, which I will melt on the stove over a low heat. All right, we'll let that happen. All right, enough waiting. It was cool enough, probably. This is melting, but there are sort of some like peach lumps, like big pieces of peach, and I feel like I don't want that. So maybe I'll get more of the liquidy bits. Okay. Melted. I removed the chunky bits. Now, let's hope we're not making a terrible mistake that we'll always regret. This melted peach puree is going over top. Mix it in with our berries. All right, they're looking nice and glossy. Now this goes on top. So it's to gently press into the puree. I have loosely covered this with plastic, and this is going to go into the fridge to set up for 3 hours. It is quite a while later. The summer berry pie has been chilling in the fridge ever since this morning, and it looks really good. I think it's supposed to be served at room temperature, so I'm just gonna leave it out here while we make some really quick whipped cream. When I do whipped cream like this, I often put my stand mixer bowl in the fridge. Not exactly sure where I learned that, but I think just a chilled bowl helps everything whip up better. For the whipped cream, I have 1 cup of heavy cream, some sugar, and a little bit of vanilla, which I'm going to add to my stand mixer. I'm gonna start this on medium-low for 1 minute. I'm seeing some slight foaming, some little bubbles, and I think it's ready for me to kick it up a notch. I'm going to turn this up to high, whip it for 1 to 3 minutes, and we are looking for soft peaks. Well, that was not a minute. It's not like the prettiest whipped cream ever, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not really getting any peak. I'm getting globulars. Okay, may have overwhipped it, whatever, we'll go with it. We don't have time to remake it. It's gonna be fine. I was all ready to just continue with this, and then my live-in taste tester came in and said that I overwhipped it.
You did.
He says we have to do it again. And I was all like, this is how you do it. Let's go again. This wasn't a nice little bowl for you before. We don't have time for that. Okay, on low till it gets foamy. I guess not too foamy. And then maybe we won't even go to high. It's quite a soft peak. Taste tester. Is this to your liking?
I would go 15 more seconds.
Well,
10 more seconds.
you're not in charge. I'm in charge. It's the moment we've been waiting for. It is time for the tasting and the grading. If you didn't know, every time I make a new recipe from my favorite cookbook, the Cook's Illustrated Baking Book, I give it a grade using the OWL grading system from Harry Potter. This is an easy way for me to remember how much I liked a recipe the first time I made it, if I want to make it again, and also I'm a huge nerd, so it ticks that box as well. If you're not familiar with the grades, here they are. I need a little help judging this summer berry pie, so I'm gonna bring in my live-in taste tester, and dear Lord, I hope he likes the whipped cream. Taste tester, hello.
Hello.
Happy 4th.
Thank you.
How does this look?
Looks really good.
Summery, right?
Yeah.
I'm really nervous to cut it. I just want to be open with you.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to come out of this dish.
Yeah.
Because the walls of this look kind of thin.
Yeah. And I didn't grease it or anything.
You didn't grease it or anything?
You didn't say to.
All right.
Maybe we'll
Whipped
just...
cream looks perfect. I think what the difference is that you built the crust all the way up to the edge.
Yeah.
But they dropped it like a centimeter lower, and
Yeah.
then it was thicker. You want me to try to do it?
You want to try?
Then you can put the blame on me.
Okay, great.
That's not a promising feeling. That's kind of holding together. That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. That's,
Beautiful.
that's going to affect the grade.
I think it's important to get a bite with and without the whipped cream. Oh, hefty. Hefty dollop. It tastes amazing.
You can definitely taste the apple jelly.
There is no apple jelly. Are you trolling me in like person? I love the puree.
Tastes delicious. It's a really good, bright flavor. The crust tastes very good, but I think it needs to be thicker. I think that if you brought it down on the side, it would become a little thicker, but I also would just have more of it. Here's the thing. I kind of don't like how the puree seems, it's almost too gelatinized.
Okay.
It's a little too set for my tastes. Like,
Really
come
wiggling
on,
that,
that should fall apart. We're fine, everything's fine. I'll eat it later.
I think it's very good. I very much like the graham cracker crust, which I definitely agree about kind of forming it, and I think this has to do more with like how I did it in the pan, because even it's like an inch above. If you take an inch and put it down and spread it around, it might like, I just add that little bit of thickness that you're looking for. I very much like the puree, and I like all of the fresh fruit on top that we basically did nothing to. It's totally festive for like 4th of July. You got the red, white, and the blue. I think it would look beautiful on the table.
Yep.
It definitely is sweet. This is definitely a dessert, but it's more of like
It's not that sweet.
But it's more of like a fruit sweetness, even though of course we had sugar.
And the raspberries, the tart really cuts it.
I really dig it. I think that this summer berry pie is going to be an E for exceeds expectations.
Nailed it. What? Why are the berries shiny?
This is what the apple jelly was supposed to be. Technically, it has like some setting agent, but not as much as I thought was going to be crucial.
Okay. Yeah. See, I thought it was going to go into the base.
Yeah, me too.
Which would affect the set.
Because once again, I don't read the recipe ahead of time.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
You should. You should really do that. Every time I'm like, you should.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Next time.
Well, maybe.